Welcome to our podcast, Parenting by the Pint. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, Minivan Mafia. Lauren and I are longtime friends from Chicagoland that love getting together to chat about life, kids, family, and beer.
Each week, we'll feature a brewery and sample at least 2 of their beers.
We'll also discuss a variety of topics ranging from parenting, pop culture, travel, marriage, and just about anything else that comes to mind. Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
Hey. So we took a little break, but we are going to finally drink the last brewery beers I got from my trip around Lake Michigan.
Nice.
The Michigan Loop, as people like to call it. The Lake Michigan Loop.
I'm excited.
So this was an impulse buy. I kept seeing these cases of this brewery kind of here and there.
Okay.
You know, we went to Mackinac City at one point, and I went into like a liquor store. Mm-hmm. Well, it was like a little convenience store type place.
Okay.
And I was in there to grab like a gallon of milk and some odds and ends because we were staying in a house.
Oh, okay.
And it was just the like couple things that we wanted to buy just to have in the house that we didn't bring with us, you know, because we brought like snacks and things like that.
Yeah.
And I saw this brewery, and I passed on it because I was like, no, I already bought too much beer in Grand Rapids. I'm not going to buy this beer. Whatever. I'll just skip it. And so then, as we were making way through the loop, and we went through the Upper Peninsula, and we're starting to head toward Wisconsin, we stopped to fill up for gas, and I just saw this pack. It was a 12-pack variety of Upper Hand Brewing. And I just bought it.
You're like, all right, it's a sign. I saw it again.
I like paid for it and then started thinking, did I spend too much? Was this too expensive? Did I spend too much money? And then I like put it in the back of the car, and it almost like decapitated my 8-year-old because it like slid forward. I think we talked about that with the trunk packing.
Sign, yes.
Yeah, and I was like really worried, and he had to like unbuckle his seatbelt on the highway and like grab it and put it by his feet so that it wouldn't kill anyone.
So it tried to impale him.
I don't know if it was a good decision or a bad decision. I've tried some of the other beers in the pack since then, and thought they were all decent. So I guess the beer is good.
Okay.
So I will say
Even
that.
if it attacked you, it's so good.
Upper Hand is based out of Escanaba, although I know you're going to tell us fun facts about the brewery, so I won't spoil any of that. I will just say let's open Trek Light, which is a little hoppy crusher.
Oh, it's so cute.
Is how they describe it. Yeah, we have 12-ounce cans, you guys. Isn't that adorable? We never drink. It's so little in my hand. I feel like a giant. These are like the only 12-ounce cans in my fridge. Well, that's not true because Revolution puts out 12-ounce cans, which I appreciate because their beer is all like 13%.
Right. So I can't drink a 16-ounce of that.
Heavens,
I need the 12.
I would die.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But let's try Trek Light.
All right,
and you can tell me about Upper Hand.
Yeah, and the cans all say drink up, but it really means Upper Peninsula, not necessarily up,
drink
nice
UP.
Fun play on words we got going on here.
I will say when we sampled Mitten, I admitted that I didn't realize people call Michigan a mitten because it's shaped like a mitten. I do know that people from the Upper Peninsula are called Yoopers. And I did know that before we went on the trip. So I am proud to say that.
Okay, I'm going to give this a try.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Ooh. It's a little earthy for an IPA.
Yeah, I would go so far as to say more like grassy, earthy than like that mixture of like sweet hoppiness that we kind of
more like. So I would have almost said pine, but the next beer we're drinking refers to pine. So
who knows where that will take us, right?
But this definitely feels more like, more grassy kind of flavoring to me, which is super interesting. It's crisp. Like it's very.
It's definitely a little crusher in the sense that you could definitely like throw this back pretty fast. I could stab this can with a knife and shotgun this beer.
Yeah, probably. It's only 4%. So that's interesting. These cans have shelf life on it, which is super interesting as well. It says dry hopped light beer as the description.
Okay.
So it's definitely light.
Yes.
It's definitely drinkable. It's crisp. It's got a little bit of a earthy flavoring to it. I mean, it's an IPA, but it's a unique one in my eyes. So, yeah. It's pretty tasty. Yeah. Just a little different flavor to me.
Yeah, I agree. IPA. I don't know that I had any of this one. There was a couple cans of it left, so I'm not positive I had this one before. Yeah. The second one we're going to drink, I have had one of.
Okay, cool. So Upper Hand. So Escanaba, Michigan, the Upper Peninsula. As people may or may not know, it's actually a division of Bell's. So, which is now, we've talked about Bell's before. They actually were recently bought by the Australian beverage company Lion, which is a subsidiary of the giant Japanese conglomerate Kirin. Right. So they're no longer independent, but pretty much everything else stayed the same. They didn't change any of the brewing or anything, really. It's just owned. And, I mean, there's benefits to being a part of a large company. You have more resources and things like that too. So who knows? But essentially, Larry Bell really wanted to start a brewery in the UP, and this was that kind of adventure off to do that. It started in 2014. So it's been around for a handful of years, not very long compared to Bell's.
Right.
But so relatively recent. They only started, so this was very much we want to draw people up to the UP. We are a ragtag crew of hikers, bikers, campers, dog walkers, fishermen, hunters, outdoor lovers. If you look at their cans, it's very clear that that's exactly what they're marketing to is outdoor activities. The brewery, like a few of the ones we've talked about, is pet friendly. Their motto is kind of do what you love, where you love, with the people you love. So this is kind of Larry's like side project almost, or foray into a area that it sounds like he enjoyed. So, but up until 2020, it was literally only in the Upper Peninsula. They didn't even distribute until Lower Michigan.
Okay.
So this is a very recent, more widespread. It actually didn't get statewide in Michigan until 2021, until last year.
Wow.
So their distribution is not the Bell's distribution. This is a very small distribution footprint comparatively. And it was very much we are a brewery in the UP, and we want people to come up and check it out and drink up here. And you couldn't really get it much farther up until very recent. So kind of cool. Yeah, they actually broke ground on it in 2013 from the bottom up. Obviously, they had a lot of resources backing them, being a subsidiary of Bell. So this isn't like there's people home brewing opening this up. This was, this was a big company deciding to do something different and smaller. And
I like that.
Open it up. So pretty cool. And I had never had this before. I had actually never even heard of it before. Before you said we were drinking it. And I was like, all right, cool. Then I looked it up. I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. It's kind of a little brother of one of the bigger companies, but I'm sure that they've got a lot of resources and things and ideas that they share back and forth as well. But this is a unique, for sure, at least if there's any indication from this first beer we're drinking, unique spin on maybe some of the other standard recipes.
Yeah.
So
that is, I did not know that when I bought it. And, it says it on every can, but for me, it was just like, I feel like I have to buy a beer from a brewery that has a picture of the Upper Peninsula on the can. Yeah. That just seemed like enough of a draw for me to go ahead and do it.
No, I think that's super cool. Yeah, the cans are very much which is ironic. You drink this when you're doing things outdoors, which, after you sit down, maybe, and drink a gallon of water. But
Yeah, maybe, right? Especially the second beer we're going to drink, which is going to be a bit stronger, I would imagine.
Yes.
So.
but yeah, no, I had never heard of this, so this is pretty cool to drink something that's new, and that again is not readily available everywhere.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I felt like I saw it everywhere in the Upper Peninsula.
Probably.
But
I don't know how many breweries are in the UP
I know,
either.
I have no idea.
So, but this is definitely one that is prominent.
Yes. Well, they definitely, like I said, they had it in Mackinac City, and there is at least one or two breweries in Mackinac City. They have we went to a place for lunch. I don't remember the name of the brewery, but but if you've ever been to Mackinac City and you've driven down the main drag, it's right there. It's super obvious.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I just saw this kind of all over the place once we got into the area and was just eventually broke down and bought it because I just had to. I was like, it's everywhere. I have to get this.
Yeah, fair. Cool.
But yeah, this is a great start. Yeah, I'm glad this is good. And, it was the end of our trip, but, a great finish to our little tour.
Nice. It looks like there's only a dozen breweries in the UP, maybe?
I mean, most of the UP is a desolate wilderness. I mean, there's nothing.
There's not a whole lot out there.
There's nothing out there.
It's very
My husband
scenic
and I
is
had
more than anything else.
My husband and I had many conversations about how long you could live in the wilderness up there before somebody would notice.
You were gone?
Yeah, if you just stopped paying your taxes and you disappeared off the face of the planet.
That's
how
where
long...
you should go.
Yeah.
Okay.
We agreed that finding an abandoned building somewhere. It sounds very Unabomber-esque, if you will, which is not, if you know anything about me, not a lifestyle that I'm really made for. I mean, I wouldn't mind disappearing in some ways, but I also don't want to hide.
Yeah.
Because hiding implies getting off the grid. And that is something
that's definitely not something
I'm
that
not
we're
able to
interested
do.
in doing. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that one.
I need the grid.
Yeah, not my thing. But yeah, if you're gonna go run and hide somewhere, I would guess that the UP is a good place to
absolutely
to do that. So, and there are a handful of breweries to keep you going. So,
yeah, I mean, if you're looking around, you will find them. I think.
Cool.
So anyway, speaking of living in the wilderness, I would imagine that managing your time in that environment would be a lot easier than what we feel like we deal with. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
So, time management. This has been a subject that's been looming for a little while.
Quite.
Your husband suggested it a while ago, and part of me just didn't want to talk about it. Part of me was just I know this is here, and it's in the hopper, and we're going to get to it eventually. But I'm going to try to think of something else.
So he probably suggested it because we were doing poorly at it at that point.
Well,
and he was like, I feel like you need to talk about it.
Yeah, and he's not wrong because this topic came up over the summer as a suggestion, and summers are terrible for us.
Oh my gosh, horrible.
We do such a bad bad job rather, making plans to get together to record, and so he's not
there's
wrong.
So many other things going on. Yes, for sure. So
there's not regular weeks during the summer. There's always something random.
It's a struggle.
Yeah,
I would agree.
So knowing all of that, I'm going to start out, by kind of talking about my kids because I think I have less to say about them and time management than I do about myself.
Gotcha.
My oldest is in middle school now, and we talk a lot more about time management with him than we ever did before because his time seems a lot more limited, a lot more I won't say structured, but I will just say that there's more things to fill his time than there used to be.
Okay.
And as a result, I think we have to focus a lot harder on how to arrange his schedule.
Sure, how to prioritize things and make
because he's got a lot more homework. He started joining these clubs.
Yep.
He's still doing karate. He's learning how to play the clarinet.
Yeah.
And what we really... last spring, I talked about getting him a planner.
Yes.
And that was a colossal failure. And I never visited that idea again. That's not true, actually, because a friend got him a planner as a
Oh,
birthday present to
okay.
replace the one that
the
I
missing?
had given him.
Yes.
And it's great, and I'm really happy that we have it as a resource.
Okay.
However, the original planner was definitely a failure because I put a lot of time and energy in that, but it was a waste. But anyway, but what we did get at the same time as the planner was this notebook that was just like a to-do list notebook. And so
okay.
every week it had a bunch of lines, and then it has just like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and check boxes.
Oh, huh.
And so what we did was after the start of the school year, when we kind of started to realize we didn't have a great grasp on everything,
Sure.
is we started to build these to-do lists, and there's like a morning and an evening. And so
Oh.
we consider that before school and after school.
Yeah.
And so, the before school to-do list is the same stuff that you and I do before we would
Sure,
go to
we're
work
getting
in the
ready, yep.
morning. You shower, you brush your teeth. And, for him, it's a little more specific. Like, it's like put on deodorant,
Yeah. Things
comb
that he'll
your
probably
hair.
forget
I don't need to write down brush my teeth.
for yourself.
I will just do it. But it needs to be on his to-do
No,
list
I
because
get that. Yeah, because it's
it's-
something you need to
he's got-
remind them.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, did you brush your hair today? She's like, I forgot. Like, I don't know how, but go back
I know
and do it.
my son has long hair, and
Yeah.
we have him comb his hair before school and pretty often in the evening, especially if he's washed his hair. We
Sure,
don't wash
yeah.
hair every single night, but when he does,
Yeah.
we of course want to comb through it.
Yes, yes.
But yes, so his to-do list in the morning is just preparation things. Also like make sure you have your lunch, make sure your laptop is
Yes.
charged, and it's all on the list. And then the after school or evening checklist has the homework that he always has every day. He has a couple of classes where he always has homework in them. He has a couple of classes that he occasionally has homework in. And then he's got practicing the clarinet, and then he's got shower,
Sure.
make lunch for tomorrow, that sort of stuff
Yeah.
that we put on the evening list.
Okay.
And that has been going pretty well. That has been
That actually sounds really helpful
Yeah.
especially for the kids, having an actual
Just a to-do list. Yeah.
I first of all make to-do lists
Yeah, I do
constantly,
that too.
like quite literally constantly. But I find it helpful to have that, and I think for the kids, having very specific instructions is very helpful.
well, and like when you leave today, it's just on the kitchen table,
Yeah.
the list.
Cool.
And we just kind of leave it out during the week.
Okay.
And in the morning when he's getting ready and he comes downstairs and he's already gotten dressed, put on deodorant,
Done a handful
combed
of
the
those
hair,
things. Yep.
he's just like chick, 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 checks off those
Yeah.
things.
No, that's great.
Eats breakfast, check that off, goes
Yeah.
back up, brushes teeth, checks that off. Like,
Yeah.
and and the time what I appreciate about it is that rather than having to wake up earlier because everything is chaos, we have figured out pretty much exactly how much time he needs
Yeah.
to get ready in the
that's
morning
true,
without
too.
feeling rushed.
Yeah.
And it's not
That's
a
like
super
the worst
long...
in the morning is when
Yeah.
you're like, all right, we're rushing through everything. And I
Yeah.
hate that. I hate those mornings.
I don't like that either. I don't like panicking. I don't like,
No.
we have some leeway because if we were desperate, I could drop him off at
Sure.
school.
Yeah.
Same,
Same,
I'm
but
in a
that's
position.
like the last of,
But I've never had to do that so
That's
far
good.
this year, and he's been doing very well with it. He responds really well to it. In fact, he went and rewrote. It's like every week, you have
Yeah.
to rewrite the list.
Sure.
And he had already rewritten the list for this week before
good. Oh, so he
today.
did that on
Today's
his
a
own.
Monday, so
Right. Yeah.
which was great.
That's awesome.
I was super impressed.
No, I actually really like that idea.
Yeah. I'll have to send you a copy of the book.
yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't that expensive, and it's actually personalized. It has his name on
Oh,
it.
cool.
And it has a bunch of other sections.
Sure.
So like we're really only using this to-do list section.
Sure.
But there's also like they have a books section where you could write about
Oh,
books
cool.
you're reading or what you
Alright.
want to read next or what you've enjoyed.
Yeah,
a little-
other little areas. I'm definitely going to look into
Organizational.
that. The twins are at a point where they do need to be reminded of things, and it would be
Sure.
really great to get to the point where they are managing their own mornings.
He's started to
and-
do he has responded very well to it. And my son.
Yeah.
He's not the most organized guy. So
Yeah.
like this is huge. It
Yeah.
has been a huge help.
Whatever
I'm
works,
really
but
happy with
that's
it.
great.
Yeah.
I will definitely. I'm going to steal your idea
Yeah.
because
Add
I
it to the
think
recommendation
it's
list. I will
definitely
send
on my recommendation list. Yeah,
I will send it
I
to
like
you.
it.
Yeah.
I like it. I will say that my daughter's teacher has a kind of to-do list notebook that is just for like what did they do in school and then what did they have to do after school that he gave them.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
so they check off like they always are supposed to read. They always have math homework. They always have some other homework, whether it's vocabulary or something.
Okay.
So they always have those things, and then they're supposed to check them off, and I'm supposed to sign it every day. My daughter doesn't remind me to do that every day, but it's a similar idea for school, but it'd be good to have for just the things they're supposed to be doing on their own.
Yeah.
So
Well, and the book also has sections like chores, like
yeah.
there's whole sections on it that are laid out in a similar fashion where it's like maybe you do this chore once a week, maybe you do this chore every single day. You know, like you could. I don't think kids are capable of organizing this many lists, but like as an adult, hypothetically, if you were struggling to keep track of everything, you could utilize all of these sections to organize all these different elements.
Yeah, or
and
even
it would
to
be great.
help the kids. Like there are chores that they should be doing.
Yeah. Well, and
so.
if the chore list is stuff that they more often do, like let's say on the weekends,
Sure.
then it's not such a big deal for them to flip to that section and be like, what do I have to take care of this weekend?
Yeah,
Yeah. And maybe some of them are every week and some of them are every other, or
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's good.
I really like it.
All right,
I've been really happy with that. Yeah, so getting my son organized was a huge help in his time management. For me personally, I go in waves with how I feel about my time. When your husband first proposed the idea, I hated the idea because I
You were
was
in a
not
bad place.
I was
with
not
your-
managing my time well at all, and I was just like, "This is not gonna. What am I gonna say?" He's,
Be like,
you're
I'm
gonna
just
be
not
like,
doing it.
yeah, you're gonna be like, "How do you manage your time?" And now I'm gonna be like, "I don't." But I'm actually feeling pretty good about my time management for the moment.
Okay.
I expect something will sneak up on me here.
It goes in
That'll
waves.
throw everything into total disarray.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I feel pretty good. From a work perspective, and I kind of tried to break it down into different categories a little bit, although they all, of course, overlap because it's how I spend my time. But from a work perspective, I generally believe I work pretty efficiently. My tasks at work do vary quite a bit because we're a small business, and sometimes, when we talked to Gabriel and I said, some days I come in and I do, I do task A, and then I could go weeks without doing task A again, and I do task B every single day because it's something that I've always done.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you're this person, sometimes you're that person, sometimes you're all the people.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. Sometimes somebody calls in sick and I dive in and play their role because I don't have 60 people. I have 6.
Yeah, exactly. So you do what you got to do on a day-to-day basis. That might change. Yeah.
But overall, I feel like, and I think this is true of most, if not all, of the people that work for my brother and I, have a pretty good handle on workload and how to schedule their day, and I feel that way about myself. I think that what I've learned is to prioritize, what's the thing that I should probably do first? What's the biggest, and like, I'll give you one example and then I'll move on so I don't talk about work all day. But I know letting customers know their orders are ready is really kind of the most important thing.
That's something,
because
they are concerned with, and they're going to reach out if you don't.
Yeah, I want to tell you your order is ready before you call and ask if your order is ready. So for me, when I walk through the door, once 9 o'clock hits, so if I'm earlier and I'll do something else, but once 9 o'clock hits, I start letting people know right away orders are ready if they got done the afternoon before or earlier.
Sure.
And I feel like that's a really big deal because it allows them the opportunity to still have time to come and pick it up the same day.
Yep.
And also, it was ready as early as possible. So if they were expecting it, now they know it's here and it's ready to go.
That's a good, and you're stopping potentially them from having to call you to be asked as well.
And I don't have time for phone calls. No,
but it is
Yes.
it is an interruption. Yeah, my work is vastly different because it is a very large company, but we definitely prioritize things that need to get done first. And we are struggling with a new employee right now, not doing a good job of time management. So we are working on trying to get her in a better place, but it's definitely been a struggle. And sometimes, it is hard for people to prioritize, to understand, what really should I be doing first, second, third, etc. And I feel like that's different, and sometimes people just struggle to kind of grasp what is the most important. And I think we're at that point, so I'm hopeful. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Also, and this is funny because I hadn't even thought of this, and now I went off about this whole like to-do list for my son thing. We actually have a huge dry erase board at my work that is 2 weeks of a calendar. So this week and next week is normally what you look at. And every time we have something that's due, it's color coded based on the type of job that it is, and it goes on whatever day it should be completed. Or if we're not super busy, sometimes we just, whatever the next day in the schedule is, if there's room, we put this job
in because,
even if it could be a day or two late, hypothetically. But I will say that kind of in the same vein of maybe what you're talking about is that there are occasions where we'll like write something on the board, and I'll go up to who's ever handling that particular job, and I'll be like, how's this job going? It looks like we should try to finish it up today. And they're just like, oh, did you want me to try to do that today? And I'm like, well,
that was the plan.
It's written on this wall. It's like,
for today.
The day today on the wall is like 2 feet tall. So like it's a big word written there that this job, and it's the exception, not the rule. But there are moments where I'm kind of like, why weren't you gonna do it today? Like,
I'm at that point with tomorrow I have to have the conversation like, what did you do all day?
Oh, I hate asking that question. I try not to even think about that sometimes.
Because these are the things you were supposed to do.
And none of them are done.
So what did you do instead?
I do fear that question sometimes at work. There are days where I leave early because I have to get my kids. But most often there's always my intention or goal to stay until we close each day because I feel like for me and my role at my job, that's a more valuable time frame. I don't have to be at work at 6 a.m. to supervise the very first employee that walks in, but I do like to be there at the end of the day to supervise the last thing that happens.
That's fair. I like to know what I'm walking into tomorrow too, which is nice, so that I have that kind of, all right, what did we get accomplished today thing.
Absolutely.
I think that both of us likely have to be pretty organized at work. So I feel like the work piece for me is easier actually than the moving pieces of like my family life.
Well, and hopefully you've figured out the work pieces. You know what I mean? Like I think that your kids and your family, that's always going to be variable. So you're always going to have question marks.
Change that happens.
But for the most part, unless you change jobs, you kind of know what to expect. I mean, even, and I'll say, like I said, sometimes I'll do a totally different thing than I planned, but there's not a ton of surprises. I don't run into like, oh my goodness, no, what are we going to do now? Like, even when something unexpected does happen, for the most part, it's not like, let's devolve into chaos.
What to do. It's just a matter of fitting it in or other kind of things. But you're like, all right, we know how to handle this.
We just have to handle it.
There's just other factors.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. But to kind of branch over into our other area of our lives, probably what we both agree the more complicated area, which is the home life and managing our time there. I kind of tried to think about, what areas of my home, rather than just speaking generally, because I feel like that won't give anyone.
It's a disaster.
Because there are things I think I have a better handle on than others. For example, I feel like when I do projects, which I talk about a lot on the podcast, that I handle my time pretty well usually with that sort of thing. Where if I'm like, I am going to do this, I want to do this thing, this is the day that I'm going to set aside to
You're
work
gonna
on
make
it.
time and fit it in and do it.
Yeah, when we were painting the majority of the main floor of our house
Mm-hmm.
and some of the upstairs, I just had it in my mind, like, what was the plan each day that I was going to work on, especially on the days where, if I was home and off or my husband was home and off,
Yeah.
what's the goal here? How much are we going to try to get done? And then because we had the floors done, like, are we going to move all that furniture back after we finish painting?
Sure. Yeah.
And I felt like did a pretty good job of like managing time and managing a project like that.
Okay.
And I felt really good about it.
That's good. Yeah.
On the other hand, housework, for example, is not something I am very good at managing in a timely fashion. I tend to do this thing, I've realized it very recently, where I like to cram housework into tiny little spaces of time.
Oh, we totally do that.
Rather than doing them at a reasonable time. So, like, for example, laundry. Instead of starting a load of laundry when I get home from work and then putting it in the dryer after dinner or whatever, and then putting it away later in the evening or even like the next day or whatever,
Sure,
or
sure.
let's be honest, never. But,
yeah.
but it got done, right?
Sure.
I did the load.
laundry was done. We're currently living out of laundry baskets.
Oh, sure,
so,
dude. I
yeah.
perpetually have a laundry basket full of stuff.
we're there.
My
right
kids
now.
don't because my mom is too involved for that to be the case. So
yeah.
their stuff is put away. But I always have a laundry basket
Yeah.
with stuff, and I can't. It just never
The
is
kids
empty.
are also currently living out of laundry baskets. I will say that my father tends to put away their clothes, but he tends to put them in the wrong drawers.
That's
so
tricky.
like I saw my daughter's shorts in my son's drawer, and they're
Yeah.
just like gray shorts. So it's
You're
like
kind of like, well,
yeah, but they were very clearly my daughter's. And then like the boys, they screw up the sizes, like,
Yeah.
and they are not in the same size. They're very close.
okay.
But so I'll look in one of their drawers and be like, "This isn't your shirt. Like, this isn't gonna fit you.
Yeah.
This is," and we wind up. Now it is part of my kids' chores to put away their clothes once
Okay.
they're folded. They also have to match all the socks because I hate
Which nobody,
doing that.
yeah,
So
right.
that
Nobody
is
likes that.
part of their task is matching all socks for everyone and putting away all their clothes. But currently we are clearly behind on those chores because there are clothes sitting in my living room in a basket. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's almost always the case here. But what I was going to say about my time management with laundry, for example, is that, like, instead of doing the reasonable thing and doing a load of laundry, let's say once or twice a week for myself. I'm just going to talk about me. Once or twice a week or like a load over the weekend or something like a normal person would do. Instead of doing that, I like to start a load of laundry when I wake up in the morning. And then, of course, it's never done. Either I forget about it. Yes, that happens a lot. Or it's not done by the time I'm going to like drop my son off at school because my younger one I drop off. I end up having to drop him off and then come back home and putting it in the dryer and then leaving for work. And now I've done this thing that is completely inefficient. And it's not that I'm late to work. It's just that I did this back and forth.
Yeah.
When it makes way more sense to go to work after I drop him off because I'm already in the car.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, no. So I've been doing stuff like that lately. There's been a lot of that.
Yeah, I can see that. I currently have a load of laundry sitting on my couch to fold, actually, but it's because it was like, well, we poorly put things in at the wrong time again, and we're like, well, now we need to put stuff in the dryer, but the dryer stuff isn't folded, so now we're just backed up, and that is just a perpetual problem that now is going to occur, and that's where we are at with that situation. But we also do that. I feel like, chores are definitely something that we are not great at time management.
Absolutely the thing I could improve. Yeah. It's for sure the thing I could improve. And, like, I'll just be honest, the desire is not there.
Oh, no, I don't care.
I don't.
At all. It's totally just
I'm
that
waiting,
is not at my priority list.
I'm just waiting for the consequences. And so far, they're just not severe enough.
No, totally not.
The consequences are digging through the dryer for 2 socks that match. And that's annoying and I hate it. But it's not ruining my life. So I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you on that one. Yeah. Yeah, I will say that there was a time that we were struggling with like who's gonna get the kids to school or who's gonna do that. I feel like we were in a better place with some of that stuff.
That's good.
I feel like I need a secretary some days because I do like once every 2 or 3 months look forward for like the quarter, and I send emails to my parents and my in-laws, and I make a list of what days I need a babysitter for, and I say, these are the days we need you to be at my house at 6:00 in the morning, because me and my husband, which is Wednesday, me and my husband both have to get up and leave for work, or I am leaving for work I leave for work at 6 a.m. So like I need help with the kids, and my parents currently help us a lot with that stuff. So, but there were a couple of days in the past that both me and my husband were like, who's watching the kids this morning? And we were both like, no idea. No one, apparently. And then we had to like scramble to figure it out. And, we work it out. But that is like a part-time job, just to manage who's got the kids and who's taking them where and who's doing all of that. My husband and I share a calendar. We don't use like Google Calendar. We use a separate app that's just calendar. And it's
you recommended it to me
very
before I use
helpful. Just so that we both are on exactly the same
who's
page.
where when.
Yes. Now, not lately, for the first time in a long time, I double booked myself because I didn't put something in the calendar, and I forgot about it, and then I made other plans, and this doesn't happen often because I religiously put things in the calendar. Once I make a plan, it goes in there, because if it's not in the calendar, it does not happen.
It's not going to happen.
Doesn't happen.
I get it. I'm the same way, and I actually am guilty of the same thing. I did that with like a haircut one time. I like the girl who cuts my hair. She only does Sundays, and Sunday's a weird day.
Yeah.
To make plans, like have an appointment, and I just like totally screwed up, and I had to like scramble. I think I had to cancel on her. I was like, I can't be there because I just like
totally
I was like,
forgot.
I'm stuck where I'm at, and I'm not going to be able to do this thing.
Yeah, but I always say to everyone that's like making plans with me, I'm like, if it is not put in my calendar, it is not going to happen.
I won't be there.
No, I will not.
I get that.
I will forget about it or whatever, but it will not happen.
Yeah.
So, but my husband the same. This morning he forgot he had department pictures, and it's in the calendar, but like he like didn't set it to alert. So he didn't get a reminder, and he must not have opened up the app today, or like this morning it was like 9 a.m.
Because it gives you like a rundown, right?
Yes,
Each day.
it
like,
gives you
what
a
you have today.
Exactly. These are the activities you have, and so when it notifies you, you're like, oh, okay. But he did not set that to notify him, so he'd never even looked at it. And then someone called him and was like, hey, so you coming?
Oh my goodness.
So he worked it out, and it was fine, luckily, but not everything is that easy. So
yeah, he was lucky.
Yes, but again, I'm like, it was in the calendar. If it's not in the calendar, I'm not going to happen.
It doesn't
but apparently,
exist.
sometimes even if it's in the calendar, it's not going to happen.
I get that. Yeah. So for me, a lot of this boils down to, am I on time to stuff as a result of my ability to manage my time? Yeah. And I will say that it's not random. And depending on what I am doing before I am expected to be somewhere at a certain time,
makes all of the difference.
Yeah, it makes all of the difference. So am I doing housework? Because then I'm going to be late to the thing that if I'm working on something in my house, I'm probably going to be late to whatever is on the schedule. Yeah. Am I coming from work? I might be early or on time, because I do a better job managing my time, even if I have to leave work early to go to the thing.
You're more likely to do that. Yeah.
When we met Gabriel, I had to leave work early to meet with him, and I gave myself, I honestly misjudged how long it was going to take me, but I had given myself enough time,
a buffer,
to get there, that I was there on time.
Yep.
And that the original plan was to be early, but
you still made it on time.
But I still made it on time, and a lot of times I have found, because I'm a little more efficient at work than I used to be, I don't have as many problems getting to stuff on time if I'm coming from work.
Okay.
So if I make plans with somebody and I'm coming from work, I find that I'm much more likely to be earlier on time than if I'm
coming from home
or if I'm managing the kids by myself.
Oh God, yeah, that's
those factors and some of it's obvious. Yeah, if I'm by myself with the kids, but I'm also working in the middle of something, I'm working on something, and so they're just entertaining themselves, which is code for like watching YouTube
Pretty
or
much, yeah.
playing video games. We're probably not going to get to you on time unless I get the ball rolling really early.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the reality of that situation.
Yeah.
So,
No, that makes sense.
would I like to do better with being on time? I think I am a little better than I used to be in all realms when it comes to being on time.
That's good.
But no, yeah, sure. There's definitely
Well, I
room
mean,
for
everybody has room
improvement.
for improvement. I feel like as my kids have gotten older and I am doing less of the prep work on getting them ready and out the door, we've become more on time.
Sure.
Because I'm not trying to get 3 kids ready anymore. And myself.
Well, and I do think that makes a huge difference because there used to be occasions where I would be like, okay, we're going to go do this thing, and I need to do this, this, and this before I have to go. And some of those things would be things for myself.
Sure.
And as a result, there would occasionally be things that I wouldn't think of that were like kid related.
Yep. Yeah.
Where I would be like, okay, well, I want to change and I'm going to wash up and then I'm going to finish getting ready and then we're going to go.
Right. But then
And
you'd
maybe-
forget whatever steps we needed to do for the
And
kids.
maybe
Yeah.
the parts that are me take 20 minutes. But in the meantime, I also have to feed my kids lunch before
Sure.
we leave because we didn't have lunch yet and it's almost 1:00 and we're not going to eat when we go
Yeah.
to wherever we're going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
will say the time of day also has a pretty big effect when it comes to being with my kids as to whether we're on time or not.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
To me, like in the mornings, my children are super early risers and generally
Yeah.
speaking, we will be more on time.
Yeah, I agree.
As the day goes on, I feel like
Yes.
there's more of a chance of us being late
Yes,
the
I think
later
you're
in the
totally
day.
right. I think you're totally right because I feel like my son, who has to be ready to leave for the bus by 7:30, we don't have trouble with that.
Yeah.
But if he didn't have to be at school until noon,
Oh my
we
God.
would be late like
there'd be
every day.
Every day.
We would
Agreed.
be late every day.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Now, I have friends that are perpetually late to literally everything. Like, I went out to dinner on Friday last week, and I told every single person that our reservation was at 6:30. It was not at 6:30 because I knew everyone would be late. So I was, and and they were, and I was like, it's fine. I made the reservation for 7. Like,
That's good.
but I knew you people would all be late, so I told you to be early.
That's
And
good.
I'm now managing my friends because I know that they are perpetually late.
Yeah, I've run into that situation a little bit in different realms. I've
Yeah,
had.
it depends
I
on
won't
who I'm
name
talking
names,
with. Yeah.
but I will say that it's nobody that listens to the podcast because my mother is notorious for it, and my sister-in-law, not my brother's wife, but my husband's sister, are both late people, kind of no matter what.
Oh, my in-laws are literally like, we've eaten like hot Christmas dinner at 8:00 because they were like running so incredibly late.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, and it's funny because you bring that up. My brother is not at all a late person, but is always late to holiday gatherings.
That's
in every
interesting.
aspect.
No matter what.
Even when it's at his house. So if it's funny because my husband and my mother do this thing at every single holiday where they go, what time is dinner? Mm-hmm. And now, first of all, I have a very, maybe I have a big window of time where I can survive without too much food.
Sure.
I don't know. I do think that I get hangry if I've gone too long without eating.
I think everybody does, but
But
everybody has a different time that requires.
But I think it takes me a little while to
Okay.
get there, I guess. I don't know. But my mom and my husband will be like, what time is dinner for Thanksgiving, let's say? And
ours is at 5 this year. We already discussed this.
cool. And my brother will do that. He will be like, oh, we're going to do dinner. We're going to have dinner at 5:30. Mm-hmm. But we're not. Okay? There's no way that we're going to have dinner at 5:30. There's no chance of that. I love my brother. I love you, Tori, but you are not going to, it's not going to be ready. Because at some point, too close to 5:30, someone is going to say, we should put the turkey in.
We should have put the turkey in.
I'm going to look at my watch And I'm going to do the math real quick in my head. Yeah. Okay, well, that looks like an 18-pound bird. That's not going to happen. Nope. And now, when I have a holiday, and I bet you do this, I have a schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Turn the oven on for this at this time. Put the thing in.
This has to go in at this time. This
starts at this time. This is how long this takes.
Sure.
This will have to go in at this time. This will come out at this time, and this goes in at that time.
Right, because they're all different times, temperatures,
for this length of time.
Yeah.
And I think that, first of all, I don't have a double oven. I have one oven. So I do have to do some planning if I'm going to use my oven for like a holiday meal.
My mom always has that struggle.
Yeah, I've heard that story.
She only has one. Yeah, she's very unhappy
needs a double
about hers.
oven. I know. I've heard that story.
Yes.
But I'm a good planner. So if I plan, I can handle it.
Yeah.
Yes. I also have a fair-sized toaster oven, and I can use crock pot and Instant Pot, and I will use all of those tools.
Yes.
So like, and I'll also, like, if I ask my brother to bring something, I'll ask him to bring something that can be prepared on the stove, for example, because I know there's no room in the oven.
Yeah, but you plan ahead.
But I do
a lot of time management is honestly planning. Like,
absolutely.
It really is planning ahead and making a schedule or a list or things. Like, all of those factors make for a successful managing your time.
Yes.
Doing none of those things, if you're still managing your time, it's because you're lucky, not because...
Absolutely. 100% true. And what I will say on the other side of things, just to kind of not seem completely intolerant, is I do think that I am able to be patient with people that are not in the same place as me when it comes to time, good or bad. Sure. And appreciate patience from others in the same arena. You know, my mom was late the other day and she was going to babysit for us and we were going to go out and she was like 20 minutes late. And hey man, what do you want me to say? It happens. Yep. You'll get here when you get here and we'll leave when you get here.
Because there's nothing you can do about it at that point.
That's what's going to happen right now.
Yes.
So we'll be fine.
Yep.
I'm not going to be mad at you when you walk in. You're doing me a favor.
Also that. Yeah.
So, I just like to think that hopefully I'm able to give people grace. Yeah. And that they're able to do the same.
Yes, because we all struggle with that at some point.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a taste of this last beer here.
All right, what are we drinking?
We are drinking Lost in the Pines. It's a double dry hopped American IPA.
Like the first one. Ooh, okay. Yes.
See, this is kind of what you expected, though, right?
This is what I expected, yes.
I love the can art on this, that it's like I think we've got...
It's really pretty,
sunrise.
Actually.
Is that what this looks like
so.
to you? Is sunrise rather
east
than
or west?
sunset?
I don't know.
Right?
It does look like a sunrise to me,
got some
as
greens,
opposed to...
which I think are more sunrise,
yes, as opposed to sunset. But it's very pretty can art, I will say that.
Yes,
it does make me want to go outside and look at the sun. And this is very... So I said the other one was earthy, and I do think they both actually have a pine taste to them.
Yeah, I do too.
This is just a little bit stronger, but that makes sense based on the beer type style that it is. But it is definitely earthy. Like, these are very... Yes. Which, again, makes sense for the brewery, but that's definitely get that from this.
I agree. I think they have a bit of a similar undertone to them.
Yes, to me. This one just is a little bit more to it, which again makes complete sense. It's tasty. It's definitely has a very strong flavor. So if you don't like it, then that's not going to be great. But it is different. It's a unique taste, and it is pretty tasty. So all right, Lost in the Pines.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's been fun trying some new beers that I probably won't see unless I go head up towards the Michigan area.
Yeah, especially this one. But yeah, I think this is a find, if you will.
Yeah, this was good. I like it. So,
all right. Well, thanks for joining us, you guys.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to the latest musings from Parenting by the Pint.
Be sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Have a great week, and cheers to you all.